Hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a great Monday. I'm excited to be here with you again. I always say this. I love Mondays. You get to start the week off, make it what you want it to be. Uh, for those of you that may not know me, my name is Vincent Ream. I'm a member of the Unedited Life staff, and I come to you each week, share a little bit of something, maybe dream a little bit, and kind of challenge you to really live out who you are and whose you are. Hey, Tiffany. Good morning. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing it or whatever. There's a lot of noise outside. They're doing some workout back out there. So hopefully that doesn't interrupt too much on here. But anyways, today I want to read. Hey, John. I want to read out of John chapter 10, and this is something we've talked about before. It's there are some things that we'll pull out today out of this that we've talked about before, that you've heard talked about around Unedited Life for as long as we've been around. There are some great things to remember and pull out of this story all the time. So we'll get into that, and we'll make some points along the way. And so here we go. We'll start. We're going to start in chapter. We're going to start chapter 10, verse 1, and we're going to go through verse 21. Jesus said to the Pharisees, "Listen to this eternal truth. The person who sneaks over the wall to enter into the sheep pen, rather than coming through the gate, reveals himself as a thief coming to steal. But the true shepherd walks right up to the gate, and because the gatekeeper knows who he is, he opens the gate to let him in." I love this part here because one of the things that you've heard us talk about many times is being the gates. We are the gates that allow things to be released onto the earth or to be held back. And that's a gift we've been given. It's also a facet of the partnership that we have in the eternal victory. You know, that endless victory that Jesus had on the cross. That's a part of it. So in this case, it's a little bit different what Jesus was talking about right here, but this is an aspect of that we can see on this side of the cross, that we get to be a part of that. So we'll continue on here. "And the sheep recognize the voice of the true shepherd, for he calls his own by name and leads them out, for they belong to him." It's another piece right there, belonging. You have to know that you belong. That's part of what you were grafted into in this family with God, being his child. You belong there. So don't ever think you don't, because if you do think for 1 minute that you don't belong, you have to stop and you have to reconnect, because you do. You absolutely belong. All right. Verse 4, "And when he has brought out all his sheep, he walks ahead of them, and they will follow him, for they are familiar with his voice. But they will run away from strangers and never follow them, because they know it's the voice of a stranger." Jesus told the Pharisees this parable, even though they didn't understand a word of what it meant. For us on this side of the cross, we get to evaluate things. We get to hear God's voice. We get to hear Jesus's voice talking to us. And there are times where you're going to hear other things, other thoughts that aren't coming from them. They're coming at you. And the cool thing is with Holy Spirit living inside of you, you get to evaluate those things and look at them and recognize, is this the voice of the real shepherd, of the true shepherd, of Jesus? Is that his voice, or is it something else? And stopping to do that and evaluating that and considering those things, it's not bad. It's not evil. It doesn't do any harm to you. It actually is increasing your relationship with Jesus. It's moving you into a deeper intimacy there. It's not detracting from that. All right. Let's move on. Verse 7. So Jesus went over it again. I speak to you eternal truth. I am the gate for the flock. All those who broke in before me are thieves who came to steal, but the sheep never listened to them. I am the gateway. To enter through me is to experience life, freedom, and satisfaction. A thief has only one thing in mind. He wants to steal, slaughter, and destroy. But I have come to give you everything in abundance, more than you expect, life in its fullness until you overflow. And you can read that in a lot of different translations and see life full tilt, the abundant life. And I know there's others, but the point is what he's come to give you is he's come to give you every good thing, and he's come to give it to you in abundance, more than what you would expect. You know, we think we have these high expectations and these big dreams, and in reality, what we're dreaming up and what we're considering is, in looking at everything in abundance, is probably less than what God actually has for us. And if he says it's more than you expect right here, then you know that's true. Whatever your expectation is of an abundant life, God has more for you than that. He goes on in verse 11, I am the good shepherd who lays down my life as a sacrifice for the sheep. He is the one who finished it all. He finished all the work that needs to be done. And we just get to take part in that. Absolutely love that. But the worker who serves only for wages is not a real shepherd. Because he has no heart for the sheep, he will run away and abandon them when he sees the wolf coming. And then the wolf mauls the sheep, drags them off, and scatters them. I'm so thankful for this. I'm so thankful that we have somebody on our behalf that's willing to do that, that's willing to lay their life down. Because there are, I don't know if you could find anybody that you could trust enough to be able to do all these things for you. I don't think you could find another person outside of Jesus who can make this happen for you, who has the heart for the sheep. You might be able to find somebody who has a heart for a few people, but not all people. Because what Jesus did on the cross was for everybody, for all of humanity. Whether you want to accept that or not, that's not what's in question. What's in question is was it for all or not? And according to the Bible, it's for all people. All right. Verse 14. I alone am the good shepherd, and I know those whose hearts are mine, for they recognize me and know me, just as my Father knows my heart, and I know my Father's heart. I am ready to give my life for the sheep. And I have other sheep that I will gather, which are not of this Jewish flock. And I, their shepherd, must lead them too. And they will follow me and listen to my voice. And I will join them all into one flock with one shepherd. Join them all. Again, it's all people from all over the earth, regardless of the difference of the way people look, the difference of the way people believe. Jesus did this, went to the cross for all humanity, all time. Verse 17, the Father has an intense love for me because I freely give my own life to raise it up again. I surrender my own life, and no one has the power to take my life from me. I have the authority to lay it down and the power to take it back up again. This is the destiny my Father has set before me. I love that right there, because Jesus is describing both his authority and power. And that's his destiny that the Father has set before him. He has the authority to lay down his life, and then ultimately the power to take it back up again. And you were brought into that. How incredible and amazing is that? You were brought into that family. You were brought into authority and power. Verse 19. This teaching set off another heated controversy among the Jewish leaders. Many of them said, this man is a demon-possessed lunatic. Why would anyone listen to a word he says? But then there were others who weren't so sure. His teaching is full of insight. These are not the ravings of a madman. How could a demonized man give sight to one born blind? So incredible. Some of them were getting it, and some weren't. But to those who were, it was full of life. It was full of joy. It was full of hope. They could see what was coming. This right here is a great story to remember, because it lays out for you why Jesus came and what ultimately the result is going to be from that. He's there for you. He loves you. You belong. You're accepted. Share that with people. Share it with everybody. All people. That's who he came for. All of humanity for all time. All right. Thanks for sitting in to this short little chat. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a great day and a great week. And if you are here locally, come see us Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. Wednesday night, Presence Night. It's a great time of worship and connecting with Jesus. Hope to see you there.